A 7-seater MPV with Japanese reliability at this price point? Where do I sign? Hi guys, Eric here and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be having a look at this 2016 Toyota Avanza 1.5 SX. There is no doubt that this car is very well packaged, but is there any substance to it?
A really big thank you to the accommodating, thoughtful and helpful staff here at ASJ Motors. They have a huge selection of quality used cars located in 2 locations in the Overberg region. One is in the industrial area of Hermanus, the other is located on the main road of Verliesdorp. They are open for business, so be sure to check out their catalogue, link in the description box below.
If you live in the Western Cape and you have an original car in good condition you would like me to review, please get in touch. There's an email address in the description box below. The Avanza, which is Spanish for get moving, is an entry-level 7-seater MPV designed by Daihatsu. That's right, much like the Toyota Agya, the Avanza isn't technically a Toyota. It is also sold as the Daihatsu Xenia and the FAW Xenia. It is marketed to emerging markets including South America, Africa and Asia. The first generation started sales all the way back in 2004, but only arrived at our shores in 2006. It was available with a 1.3 and 1.5 4-cylinder petrol engine, along with a 5-speed manual transmission. Power ranged from 67 to 80 kilowatts, which was necessary because even though the Avanza isn't too heavy, when it's fully loaded, the engines tend to struggle. It was praised for its price and practicality, but was criticized for its lack of 6th gear and basic interior. This is the second generation in mid-spec SX trim. This car is powered by a 1.5-litre 4-cylinder engine that is carried over from the first generation. It produces 76 kilowatts and 136 Newton-meters of torque. This is less than before, but this generation is also lighter. When it comes to the Avanza's looks, I wouldn't exactly call it attractive, but it does look more cohesive than its predecessor. The front looks a tad doe-eyed, but suitably modern. The rear looks very much like before, but with crisper lines. Nothing special, but nothing too ugly either. The plastic wheels do cheapen the look a bit though. What is the interior like? Sit inside the Avanza and you can tell that this is a budget product, but because it isn't that expensive to purchase, it's not that big of a shock. The nice thing is that even though it is built down to a price, the general design in here is not boring. Simplistic, but quite interesting. I like the multi-tier dash on the passenger side, the way the center control stack protrudes a bit out of the dash itself, and these huge knobs that control the cabin's climate. It is also worth noting that even though the cabin is basic, you get all the necessary amenities you could possibly need. Power steering, electric windows all around, remote central locking, a radio, air conditioning and traction control all come as standard. The color scheme does let it down a bit though. It's quite dark and depressing in here, with most plastics being 50 shades of dark grey. Let's take a closer look though, starting with the door panel. Well, I personally really like the design, and these door pockets are absolutely massive. You get another coin compartment integrated into the door's grab handle, this neat little piece of fabric trim to add some texture, and a speaker cover that has a beautiful and funky design. On the other hand, these window switches feel far too cheap, the door's armrest is unpadded naked hard plastics, and the doors feel just a bit too light. Considering the segment in which the Avanza finds itself though, this is to be expected. The steering wheel might not be as basic as it possibly could be, but it does come dangerously close. You do get 2 dark grey trim pieces, and the Toyota logo is made out of shiny metal, but the rest of the wheel is unashamedly dull. The column is adjustable for rake, but there isn't a lot of adjustment in it, and it isn't adjustable for reach at all. The stalks feel quite cheap to use as well. They are easy to understand though, and it is par for the course for its class. The dials, however, look really sporty and engaging, which I find quite odd for a 7-seater mini MPV. While some people might find them a bit too busy, I personally think that they are quite easy to read, and I love the red accents and silver bezels. On the right hand side of the speedometer, you will find a blackout LCD drives information display. It communicates outside temperature, your basic trip information, as well as a digital fuel gauge. No water temperature gauge though, which I am at odds with. It is very important information that all of us need at all times. Turning to the stereo unit, it is a very basic factory radio from Toyota. It does come well equipped though audio wise. You get a CD player, auxiliary port and USB input. You don't get Bluetooth though, and that is a safety concern. Also, a volume dial works so much better than volume buttons. The climate controls are really interesting. First off, these knobs are massive, but the way they operate is quite interesting too. The outer dial controls the lower functions, where the inner dial controls the functions displayed at the top. Now, while I love the quirkiness, they are quite fiddly to use and they feel a bit cheap. The seat, much like the rest of the cabin, is very basic. I like these wavy patterns they have, but it doesn't get much better from there. They are a bit on the firm side, but at the same time don't provide a lot of support, and the driver's seat isn't adjustable for height either. With the design out of the way, how does the Avanza fare when we talk practicality? Well, when it comes to its storage solutions, it doesn't quite live up to my expectations. The undampened glove box is of a smallish size. You get a shallow tray in front of the gear lever, 2 narrow trays on either side of the handbrake, a deeper space behind the center console, admittedly very big door pockets, and a sunglasses holder. No cup holders though, and no center armrest either, which I think is quite a big missed opportunity. Get in the back and things are much better. Knee room is good, fit room is good too, and headroom is in abundance. The window line is extremely low and the actual windows are humongous. Combine that with excellent forward visibility and children will be more than happy back here. The seats can slide forward and back and even recline more than a Mercedes S-Class. Sadly though, unlike a Mercedes S-Class, you don't get a drop-down armrest and you don't get rear cup holders either. You do get impressively big door pockets though, and a storage pocket behind each front seat. That is quite impressive. The rear seats are definitely best suited for small children. Knee room is scarce and headroom is at a premium. Interestingly, this is the only row that has decent cup holders, so that makes them lucky. What doesn't make them so lucky is that it is not that easy to get back here, and these seats are rather firm and uncomfortable. Last but not least is a safety concern. Considering these seats are so close to the rear window, you might not want your youngest children back here, or anyone for that matter. With all 7 seats in place, the Avanza's boot is definitely on the small side at 128 litres. Thankfully, you can fold the seats out of the way and the space grows considerably. I just wish that the seats would fold into the floor and not just forward. You don't get any tethering hooks, grocery hooks or 12-volt socket either, but you don't have any load lip and you can remove all the rear seats to turn this car into a van. At this price point, very practical and very impressive. What is this car like when you drive it though? Starting with driving around town, things are quite good. This engine is very free revving and willing. All the controls are nice and light and the turning circle is very tight. What's more, because of the high driving position and excellent all-round visibility. Even though you don't have any parking aids, parking won't be that big of an issue because you have a very good idea where the car's corners are. One negative though is that the suspension does feel quite unsettled. This is to be expected at this price point though. Out on the open road and things are less than good. First off, this engine revs at a very high 4,000 RPM at our national speed limit. Noise insulation could be better too because road noise and tyre roar is quite apparent. The seats get a bit uncomfortable over longer journeys and the ride is on the firm side. Yeah, this definitely isn't the ultimate long distance cruiser, but in all fairness, I don't think it was ever meant to be one. Out on the twisties and the Avanza performs better than I thought. Body roll isn't that bad, especially considering the height of it, and there's quite a bit of grip on offer. The steering does have a dead spot though, which robs me of any fun, and the gearbox is a bit on the vague side. Still, considering the class in which the Avanza finds itself, I'm impressed. The same can be said when it comes to the Avanza's reliability. Older year models of the first generation had some engine problems, but it seems to have been ironed out. There are a couple of problems regarding fuel leakage though, but it is rare. Other than that, it appears to be a solid and well-built car. When it comes to the Avanza's rivals, the most obvious ones are the Suzuki Integra, which comes very well equipped but isn't quite as spacious. The Honda Mobilio, which is attractive and faster, but less safe than the Avanza. Lastly, there's a Datsun Go Plus, which is so much cheaper, but it is not a safe car, especially considering that it is marketed as a family vehicle. As I initially thought, this car is very well thought out, and what's more, there are some neat design cues to help it stand out from the crowd. It is a very honest and relatively safe offering from Toyota that deserves your attention if you don't plan on taking it on longer journeys. Well done, Daihatsu. I mean Toyota. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. If you enjoyed it, please remember to give it a thumbs up as it makes a world of difference to my channel. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe and get notified of upcoming reviews. I have quite a few lined up for you guys, so stay tuned. I have also started a TikTok channel which has concentrated car reviews for you guys that don't have a lot of time on your hands. A link to that channel is in the description box below. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Until next time, bye.